Samsung new smartphone Galaxy Note 7 was launched with the expectation of scaling new heights in a highly competitive market. But this has not been the case as this development continues to affect the company negatively. What initially seemed to be a technical glitch in a few devices swiftly turned into a full-blown crisis that looks set to inflict incalculable damage on the South Korean electronics powerhouse in a market where brand confidence and loyalty are very paramount. Welcome to Business Nigeria. I am Tolulope Ogujobi. Well, and going to the topic of the day now. In Nigeria, the aviation authorities have actually banned the use or even charging of Samsung Galaxy Note 7 on board.
Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) has directed passengers not to turn on or charge the devices on board aircraft. This follows recent concerns raised by Samsung, manufacturers of Galaxy Note 7 devices. Spokesman NCAA Sam Adurogboye said that the phones must not be stowed away in any checked-in baggage. The agency stated that notice had been sent to all the airlines and other stakeholders for strict compliance. According to him, the regulator took the steps to ensure safety and security of air transportation. It advised all airlines to emphasize the prohibition of the devices on board during the passenger briefings by the cabin crew. Similarly, NCAA directed all those responsible for searching or screening checked-in baggage at the various airports to intensify the procedures to identify possible checked-in Samsung Galaxy Note 7.
Now, Samsung shares has taken another nosedive as trading opened Wednesday, a day after the South Korean electronic giant kicks off its flagship Galaxy Note 7 smartphone. Now, let's look at this other package. It gives details into some issues surrounding the issues around the Galaxy 7 smartphone.
Galaxy Note 7 device was released in August. Little did the manufacturers know that their product would cause havoc to the users. The flagship smartphone, which was intended to compete with the iPhone 7, was plagued by batteries catching fire and exploding. The phone was a premium device that sold for at least $850. It received strong reviews from critics who considered it as sleek and powerful, only for customer excitement to gradually decline as safety concerns grew. Although the electronics giant attempted to fix the problem by switching battery suppliers and updating the smartphone software, amidst apologies from the company executives, a number of customers emerged with reports that some devices that had supposedly been repaired were overheating, smoking, and even bursting into flames. Ultimately, the world's largest smartphone maker has said it is killing off the phone entirely for the sake of consumer safety. This decision comes 5 weeks after Samsung said it would recall 2.5 million copies already sold, the largest ever in the smartphone industry. The South Korean company advised all customers to stop using the phones, which sent its South Korea traded shares tumbling by 8%, its biggest daily drop since 2008, knocking $17 billion off the company's market value.
The bottom line is it makes questions about the brand, because all of a sudden we're not sure we can trust Samsung because they couldn't solve this problem. I can imagine that the impact is going to be measured in the billions of dollars and perhaps even in the tens of billions of dollars ultimately. So it's an enormous issue. And again, the bigger concern is about that trust, and re-earning that trust is going to be very difficult for Samsung.
In Nigeria, the use of Samsung Galaxy Note 7 mobile phones on any airborne aircraft has been banned by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA). Many customers have been thrown into confusion as to what happens to their copies of the phone. Safety as well as replacement options are issues that have been frequently inquired. But some users in France seem optimistic about the telecommunication company's ability to end this nightmare and ensure customers' safety.
I have a positive opinion. Everyone has an Apple nowadays. Apple, Apple, Apple. And I'm a bit different, so I wanted a Samsung and I'm satisfied. I think they will succeed to resolve the battery's dysfunction.
It's happened regularly with the motherboard, for example. I changed it 3 times on different models. So they have to rethink this. Otherwise, the products are good.
Analysts have estimated the total hit to be up to $9.5 billion in lost sales and $5.1 billion of profit wiped out. With Samsung's market value of about $194 billion and annual sales of $179 billion, the question is, will the world's largest smartphone maker have enough profit to weather the loss of its Galaxy Note 7?
A big question there if they will be able to actually weather this storm. Now, the share price of Samsung on the South Korean stock exchange fell by as much as 3% in early trade. This is reflecting investors' concern that a disastrous brand fallout from the Note 7 debacle could impact the rest of Samsung's diverse product line. Now, discontinuing the Note 7 leaves Samsung extremely vulnerable as the highly competitive market for premium smartphones enter the holiday buying season. Well, now let's talk to an information technology consultant, Benjamin Shemola. Thank you for your time, Benjamin.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Yes, Benjamin, I'm going to start this way. What would you consider as the genesis of this problem? You know, a lot of issues have already been raised, but let's start it that way. What do you think is the genesis of this?
We'll need to rely basically on what Samsung is telling us, and that is a manufacturing error, malfunctioning of certain elements in the battery of the phone. That was what we were told earlier. Of course, in the last 48 hours, we were expecting somebody in the cadre of maybe the CEO or one of the top echelon to come out to tell us more, because there seems to be more to the problem of the phone rather than the battery just exploding, because we've had a replacement version of that phone also exploding very recently, which is why Samsung outrightly, for consumer protection, have to come out to altogether stop the production of the phone and then, you know, bear the loss that is accompanying it.
Now, but Benjamin, is it not disturbing now that quality control measures on the product were not so tight looking at this development?
I wouldn't say that quality control wasn't in place. You know, there are times, I guess that the problem that Samsung is having, I may be wrong, but, you know, we, of course, have gone through the series of this Note series, from the Note 1, Note 2, Note 3, Note 4, Note 5. We all were expecting a Note 6. But Samsung came out to say, rather than giving you the Note 6, since they have S series of the S1, S4, S5, X's, that they want to streamline their production. So, you know, sometimes, like I always talk in different fora, that it's not when you have a new product rolled out, most of the features that will be added on that new product has already been in the laboratory. You know, if you have like 100 features of what your scientists and what your experts are trying to develop in the next 20 years, they will now start introducing some of these features as the technology is becoming more and more and widely open. You know, haven't run all the tests on health, haven't run on the impact on the environment. But I guess for this particular phone, my own personal take is that Samsung packed too much into just one unit, because they skipped a series of their Note series, that they skipped the 6, going from the 5 to the 7, because what they told us is that they just want a generic sequence in their naming. But for me, you know, they packed the iris detection. That's the first we're having in the mobile platform. They packed so many features into this phone, and I guess that those decisions were taken at the last minute. So quality control, you know, when you are developing anything, you start your quality control from stage 1, stage 2. You know, by the time you see any fault, you take it back again to stage 1, stage 2. I guess that as at the time they had the initial quality control test done. Everything seems okay until when they woke up overnight and said, come, we can just blow out. Let's outsmart Apple that is trying to roll out the iPhone 7. Let's bring in features. You know, of course, Apple also would have fallen into this same error. Apple was planning to come up with all glass iPhone with the iris sensor and a number of other things, but they had to rescind their decision because I feel that, you know, for every technology you need energy. You have to consider energy consumption, energy saving, impact of energy on the environment and all of that. I guess for me that this was where Samsung missed it, trying to pack so much into a smaller unit in the bid to outsmart or outrun every other competitor, not minding the last check that ought to have been done while introducing newer features.
Well, I like that. For every technology, there is need for more energy. Now, Benjamin, the issue of trust now comes in. To me, I believe that this might affect customers' confidence with Samsung. Now, do you not see some customers generally avoiding Samsung phones, well, maybe as a measure of caution?
I was in air like 48 hours ago, flying from a country to another, and part of the announcement that kept coming from the captain in the plane is, if you have a Samsung Galaxy 7, put it off. That was just before the yesterday announcement. But you know something I observed, you know, a number of us on board had the iPhone with us. A number of other users that even have the Galaxy series, not necessarily the Galaxy Note 7, we have these air hostesses coming around to say, please, you need to switch on. And the users will say, sorry, this is not Note 7. You know, sometimes there is this similar look you have in all of their devices, that's their phones. And for me, as of this morning, I stumbled on a number of blogs where people are already denouncing their, how will I put it now, their association with Samsung because of this incessant a blow up of the Note 7. And I think the critical problem Samsung will have right now is to manage this situation. Because for me, I don't have a problem with the Samsung platform. I have also upgraded from the Note 1 to the last. The Note series is actually meant for business users, and companies normally use it for their executives. You know, they want it because you can make sign up document and all of that because of the stylus and every other thing. Now, if you lose the corporate users, then that means, of course, that you are losing trust in the entire consumer base that you have. So for me, it's going to affect their consumer base. But the extent of the impact is what we can't tell for now.
Indeed. Now, with reports we have of the negative effects presently on the stock market, that's on the shares of Samsung actually, and also even looking at the profits for the fourth quarter. Some experts have argued and also affirmed that at the end of the year, Samsung might not be able to even count profit. They might be running at a loss considering the amount they might lose to this. What do you think about coming out with gains, because you're into business to make profit? With this kind of development, what do you think could happen?
For me, it's all about information management. And when I saw the information about their stock this morning, I was also alarmed, but I wasn't surprised, because rolling out an entire series, mind you, you've had purchases of some of these phones into the tune of over 2.5 million units. Now you are recalling not just the one you've sold, but you are stopping the production of the tens of millions that you have even produced that you are yet to make available by sale. Now, the implication is that, and that is their flagship. Now, Samsung has been known to be very, very confident in rolling out things that every other provider, every other phone manufacturer will want to maybe watch their step. Samsung will just come out and then they've all had it right going into the market. You consider so many, as a matter of fact, I got to a Samsung mall in the United States and I was confused which is which, because I saw a series of their phones that I'm not even used to right here. The implication is that they've had so many series of phones that have been rolled out and consumers are just consuming these things. Oh, it is Samsung. Oh, it's going to be good. Oh, it is Samsung. But now that you now have an issue, how are you addressing it? How are you giving the consumer the right information, lest they start looking at every other phone you have provided or that you are rolling out in the eye of the Galaxy 7? Because that seems to be what is happening right now. And I don't see them making a gain, because the year is almost rounding up. We're already in the last quarter of the year. So I don't really see Samsung coming out of it in this last quarter. It may still take them a while.
Exactly, a big blow on the telecoms. Well, on the phone maker. Well, thank you so much, Benjamin Shemola, a consultant, information technology consultant, giving his views on issues surrounding the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. I must thank you so much for joining us on Business Nigeria. Well, we'll go on this short break and we'll be back with more on the show. Stay with us.